Okay, now Hitler's rise to power. In the previous video, we had dealt with what was the background before Hitler rise. Okay, now what we have to do, we have to go again where the World War One ended in 1919. Okay, because Hitler was there, but he was not in front of the camera. Okay, he was behind the camera, behind the scene. Okay, so in front of the camera was the Allies powers, German and Central Power was there, Weimar Republic, Socialist Democrats, they were there in front of the camera. But Hitler was the part of that. But his name was not, or he didn't came into thing power or became famous at that time, but he was there. So we have to start our journey again from 1919. So Hitler's rise to power: a sea of people, a storm of words, a sliver of hope. When the world was punishing Germany for its role in World War One, there was one person who was devoted to help Germans stand up for themselves. His name was Adolf Hitler. The Adolf Hitler, the dictator of the world. Born in 1889 in an Austrian village, Hitler was raised by overprotective mother and disciplinarian father. He wanted to be a painter, but his father wanted him to be a civil servant. So Hitler was born in 1889 in an Austrian village, okay, and his mother was was overprotective, okay, and his father was a disciplinarian, very disciplined he was, okay, and Hitler, when he grew up, he wanted to become a painter. Okay, he was interested in paintings, but his father wanted him to become a civil servant. So what happened when he when he was at the age of 17? See, at the age of 17, he applied to an art school in Vienna but got rejected. When he worked odd jobs in Vienna to make ends meet, he often heard anti Semitic speeches. These speeches attacked on all non German people and ways to control the entry of Jewish immigrants into Austrian Hungary. So what happened? Hitler was interested in arts, painting, okay, and for that he applied in an art school in Vienna, but there he got rejected. Meanwhile, see, he had to do something. He was very young at that age, and he had needed to do some work to see his livelihood, right? So for that he started doing the odd jobs. While he was doing those jobs, he used to listen to the speeches. Okay, here you can see in these both the images where people are gathered over there, and few people are there who are speaking. Okay, and among those people there, one of them is Adolf Hitler, and is very happy to listen to those speeches. What all those speeches were about? Those speeches were anti-Semitic speeches. Anti-Semitic means speaking against the Jewish community, Polish community, gypsies, and outsiders who were not the part of Germany. So these anti-Semitic speeches were heard by Hitler that time. So these speeches attacked on all non-German people and ways to control the entry of Jewish immigrants in the Austrian Hungary. So from here onwards, Hitler started hating very badly the Jews. Poles means people who belong to Poland, okay, or Polish. Poles and gypsies. These communities were treated as low caste communities in Germany. So these leaders who were giving speech at that time, they didn't want these communities to be the part of Germany. And at very early age, Hitler had got the bad impression of Jews and Poles and gypsies and other people who were there in Germany. So from there onwards, he started hating those peoples. Soon Hitler developed a dislike for the Jewish community. Desperate to change his life, Hitler left to Munich in 1913 and enrolled in the German army. From there onwards, his life changed. Instead of becoming an artist, he decided to to do something for his country. So he was desperate to change his life, and he moved to Munich in 1913, and he enrolled in the German army. So World War One had broken out. Hitler fought the Allied armies and was often exposed to enemy fire. So Hitler was there in World War One with Germany and against the Allied powers, and many a times he was exposed to open fires, and he had shown his skills in the war. Okay, but his efforts did not go unnoticed. Hitler received the Iron Cross, a military recognition twice. So for his bravery in the war, in World War One, he was awarded with the Iron Cross. You can see in the second image where you can see on his coat there is an Iron Cross. That Iron Cross indicated bravery, extraordinary courage. Okay, so that was awarded to Hitler for his bravery. Okay, he fought very bravely with the against the Allied powers. So these awards just marked the beginning of Hitler's quick road to global recognition, and those awards changed his life thoroughly. In 1918, World War One ended. Germany elected a new government, the Weimar Republic, and signed the Versailles Treaty in 1919. We know this, okay? We have studied this about this. But what this treaty had impression on Hitler, because he was also the part of World War One, and he fought very bravely. He was also awarded for that. But this peace treaty of Versailles was an insult, was humiliation for Germany. So what had its effect on Hitler? This upset many Germans, especially war heroes like Hitler. They argued, when the German army remained undefeated in the field, why was the Weimar government accepting the harsh and demeaning terms of the Versailles Treaty? So these heroes of World War One of Germany, they were questioning to the Weimar Republic, why are you accepting these demeaning terms of peace treaty of Versailles? They started hating Weimar Republic. So here onwards, Hitler's journey towards politics started, because he wanted Weimar Republic should not be there, because it accepted that peace treaty, the Treaty of Versailles, which humiliated Germany, and he tremendously loved his country, and he was against that when it accepted it. So citizens and heroes became anti-government. In 1919, Hitler was sentenced to inspect and influence German Workers' Party. What happened in So citizens and heroes of World War One, they became anti-government. They started disliking Weimar Republic, and in 1919 Hitler was sentenced. He was punished. Why he was punished? He was put behind the bars because he started inspecting and influencing German Workers' Party. He started speaking to the people of German Workers' Party, and he started influencing them that this Weimar Republic is it's not good at all. We should remove it. We should do something. We should fight for our country's image, its pride. We should stand for our Germany. Okay, so because of this, he was put behind the bars by the Weimar Republic. Instead, they got impressed with his idea and excellent oratory skills, his devotion, German pride, and his growing anti-Jewish sentiments. Hitler became the excellent spokesman for the party and was elected the party leader 2 years later. So, to whom he was influencing? The German Workers' Party, okay? And for that, he was sentenced, he was punished. But the party members, they started getting impressed by the way he was speaking. He had an excellent oratory skills. Oratory skills means speaking skills. He directly started connecting with the people by his speeches. Okay, so and also they saw his devotion towards German pride, okay, and his growing anti-Jewish sentiments. All these things made him the leader of the party, German Workers' Party. He became the leader of German Workers' Party after 2 years. For the next decade, Hitler and the renamed German Party, which was now called the National Socialist German Workers' Party, or Nazi Party used various propaganda to reach out to German people. So after that, Hitler renamed the German Workers' Party. The name of the party was German Workers' Party, but he renamed it by National Socialist German Workers' Party, or in Germany it was got the other name, Nazi Party. Okay, we'll call it Nazi Party instead of taking such a big name, huge name. So Nazi Party, and he started implementing various propagandas to reach out to German people. Now what happened? German Workers' Party was a small group. Okay, he influenced them, but his ideas, his ideology, okay, get spread in Germany. Okay, for that he needed certain propagandas. Propagandas means the ways to reach out to the people, then by flyers or placards or symbols, signs should be there. Okay, or what we call flex, the display, something should be there so that people should start recognizing the Nazi Party. So this is called propaganda. So he applied various propagandas to reach out to German people. What was those propagandas? They held marches, conducted parades, and gave speeches for massive rallies where he spoke about the Treaty of Versailles, the Weimar Republic, and Jews. What were the topics of his speeches? The Treaty of Versailles, because each and every German hated who didn't like why Weimar Republic had accepted the peace treaty. So the one who hated the peace treaty were the part of the listeners. They were the listeners. So the topics for his speeches were the peace treaty of Versailles, the Weimar Republic, and the Jews. These were the three topics, and because of this he got very famous. Nazi propaganda also included Nazi iconic symbols such as the Nazi salute. Can you see in the images? People are saluting. This kind of salute. Okay, I can see this kind of salute. It was a Nazi salute. Okay, and the swastika, can you see over there in the last image? That is swastika, but actually it should be reverse. We have this is very important for us. Swastika is very important for Indians, but German swastika was reverse. Okay, it was ulta, reverse. So Nazi propaganda included the Nazi iconic symbols such as the Nazi salute, the swastika, and the eagle atop the swastika. Okay, Hitler's powerful speeches and the grand rallies were reinforced through colorful posters and flyers. The waving red flags further added to the aggressive energy of Nazi parades. So all these things, this is called propaganda, his propaganda to make the Nazi party famous throughout the Germany. All these things he did. Further, when Hitler got arrested after a failed coup to take over the Weimar in 1923, he wrote his autobiography Mein Kampf, or My Struggle. So Hitler, he tried to take over Weimar Republic in 1923, but it was not possible for him at that time, and he failed to do so. And when he got arrested there in jail, he wrote his autobiography Mein Kampf. Mein Kampf, it is in German language. It means my struggle. Okay, and Mein Kampf was a bestseller and motivated Germans to fight for their rights. People had lost faith in the unstable Weimar, which had forgotten the plight of German workers and soldiers. Obviously, Mein Kampf, already people had got impressed by Hitler, and they were hating Weimar Republic. So when he was arrested, there he wrote this Mein Kampf, his autobiography, and when he came out of the jail and he published his autobiography, because his feelings should reach to the people. So people also started buying that book, and it became the bestseller, and it motivated so many Germans, all the Germans, to fight for their rights. Okay, further, they were praying for a savior and they got one. in the 1930 elections, the Nazi party got the majority of votes. What happened? There were people were praying that they should get a savior, someone to save them, okay, from the Weimar Republic and the peace treaty and everything. They were frustrated, and they got one. They got Hitler. In 1930 elections, the Nazi party got the majority of seats. In the Reichstag, they won again in 1932 elections. So Weimar Republic failed and was replaced by Hitler's Third Reich government. So the first video which we had come to an end was the fall of Weimar Republic in 1933. And I told you there was one person who was the hero of the story. He was none other than Hitler. He came up in 1932 with his Third Reich government. He named his government Third Reich government. Okay. On 30th January 1933, Adolf Hitler was appointed as the Chancellor of Germany. So what happened in 1933? Nazi party got elected, okay, now it was the part of the government now, okay, and that too, cherry on the icing was Hitler got the Chancellorship of Germany. Do you know what is this? Chancellor means he got the control of Germany. During the 13 years of Third Reich, Hitler had achieved his life purpose to unite and secure German nationalism. So, his circumstances, personal strengths and weaknesses all contributed to making him the most influential and powerful dictator the world ever saw. On 30th January 1933, thousands of torches were lit as Nazi paraded at Berlin's Brandenburg Gate to celebrate their Adolf Hitler had just been appointed as the Chancellor of Germany by the President Hindenburg. So at that time in 1933, the President of Germany was Hindenburg, okay. So he appointed Hitler as the Chancellor of Germany in 1933, on 30th January 1933. So people who supported the Nazi party and Hitler, they lit thousands of torches and they paraded at Berlin's Brandenburg Gate to just celebrate, because Hitler was just appointed as the Chancellor of Germany. Now the scenario, now the scene of Germany along with the Allied powers who had troubled and insulted Germany in World War I, their now thing is going to come now. Now Hitler had got the right chance. Now, his Nazi government, the Third Reich, wasted little time and began to implement a series of undemocratic policies. I'm so sorry. Okay, till here I was supposed to end the video and I got into the flow, so I continued with that. I'm so sorry. So till here we are going to study how Hitler came into how Hitler rose and he became a famous personality in Germany, and how he got the Chancellorship of Germany in 1933. That means fall of Weimar Republic and rise of Hitler in the same year, in 1933. Okay, and from 1933, the scene of Germany and the surrounded countries, okay, who dominated Germany changed thoroughly because of Hitler. So we are going to study all the changes in our next third video. Till then, you people go through the video and go through the chapter, this part, underline the main points as well as underline the main points in the refresher. Till then, bye.